Thank you. For the past 24 years, this museum behind us has taught millions about what our mission statement calls the brutality of the attack and the tenderness of the response. Inside, you learn about the 168 people who died so innocently. You learn about the survivors and how their lives have been changed. And you learn about the heroes who came from near and far, and we continue to offer our eternal gratitude to them. We have hosted presidents, vice presidents, ambassadors, high-level cabinet members, princesses, NBA basketball players, championship teams, and some of Hollywood's finest. Journalists who cover the story, journalists who are learning the story. But as important men, women, and children come from all 50 states and hundreds of countries, they've come to learn about the impact of violence. They have left here knowing that violence is never the answer. They have left here knowing that our city and this sacred site continues to be a beacon of light and hope to so many others. As our visitors travel through the 10 chapters of the Memorial Museum, they relive the horrific moment of 9/02. 9:02 a.m. and journey through the minutes, days, and months that follow, meeting the family members, survivors, as they tell their stories and end up looking up over the overlook and the majestic and powerful memorial that beautifully symbolizes each part of this story. They see the hope of a city rebuilt and moving forward, but not without remembering. Today, as we wrap up the first month of 2025, we are pleased to announce that we are moving forward with Forward, a new 3-story modern structure that will be built against this historic building that on April the 19th was known then as the Journal Record Building. This building withstood the blast and has been our home since opening in 2001. It is here where visitors have learned their others changed forever. You may remember in 2015 we had an exhibit enhancement that created ways that allowed us to use artifacts and stories that were not available to us when we built the museum. This Forward, much like in a book, gives you a glimpse of what you are to experience. So as you walk into our new lobby, you will get a feel for what you are about to experience. Items like granite salvaged from the Murrah building, much like what is used to frame the walkway around the field of chairs. Salvaged artwork from the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building that will take us back to 1995 and bridge us to the current day. There will be new media that continues to tell the story with the latest technology. Upgraded security features. When we opened the museum in 2001, we did not have the same concerns that we have today. And we will weave a tighter security presence in the lobby that will not impose on visitors, but will ensure a higher level of safety. Additional elevators to help move visitors through, made of glass to connect to the outdoor symbolic memorial. This was not something available to us during our original construction 25 years ago, but again, it is necessary today to have more than one elevator host our mini groups. We'll have a new orientation theater and introduction to this story on the 2nd floor. We'll have a state-of-the-art civics lab for students that anchors the education center on floor 1. We've worked really hard teaching STEM the past decade, but we're now also committed to the national effort to do a better part in teaching civics. We will have a collaboration space for groups wanting to learn how all levels of government and the people work together through the Oklahoma City bombing, and why even 30 years later, we stand as an exemplary example of working together across the agencies to assure to protect our country. We'll also have a new film studio as an effort to record oral histories and capture stories and personal legacies not known so that we can continue to teach and to remember. Most importantly, this new addition will be a space to gather large groups, and will host exhibition space within the historic brick walls of this visitors exit the museum. Visitors will discover a new and redesigned store. So how do we get this done during such an important year? We have a great team of folks working on it. First, 2 great trustees that are help us get it done. Rock stars of great designers and an amazing staff. I could not be more excited to collaborate with these folks to get this started during our 30th anniversary year. So, I would like to bring to the podium Chris Fleming, John Kennedy. Chris is our vice chair this year, and John the immediate past chair, and they're going to tell you all about our timeline.
Timeline. Hello, John. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, everyone, for being here. We are going to start, hopefully, this fall. There's a lot of refinement that has to happen with plans, making sure budgets, everything in line. The design team, who will speak in a few minutes, will also kind of be intimately involved in almost every detail there. John and I will work to kind of keep the project going from the trustees' perspective, and also some potentially on the donor front. And didn't know if you want to speak a little bit about that as well.
Well, yeah, I'd like to speak about that, but I'd first like to speak about you.
Oh,
Chris Fleming is one of the best developers in the history of Oklahoma City, and he's developed more projects around here than anybody. So, Chris, thanks for all your great work. And also, I'd like to recognize our board chair for being in this leadership position during one of the most important times in the history of the Oklahoma City National Memorial. Susan Chambers, let's hear it for Susan. Thank you. And also, I'd just like to thank our staff who set this up today and played like it wasn't raining.
that's right.
So thank you to all of our staff, and thank you to Carrie Watkins, who is the greatest and always has faith. So thank you. As far as the money, Bob Ross and Inasmuch Foundation was the first to really step up with a very large gift to get us going. We're going to need a couple more gifts about that size. This is a $12 million project. And Bob, thank you so much. And Bob has stepped up so many times, including being board chair during COVID. But we can't thank you and Inasmuch as enough. And also Brian Mon and the Oklahoma County Commissioners got us started with an ARPA grant that really got the ball rolling for this project. So if you do have your checkbook today, I'd love to meet you over under this tent. But we've got a lot of work to do. I love our designers, and they have just done such an incredible job. So thank you all for being here. Thanks.
It's getting wetter. So you can see that we'll have a lot of fun while we do this with these two at the helm. So it'll be great. So we've been quietly working on this for about 15 months with our designers, and I'm really happy to introduce them. Patrick Gallagher and his team from Gallagher Associates from Washington, D.C. They will work on the design and the experience inside. And Hans and Tori Butzer with Butzer Design will ensure our outside design enhances and does not distract from the memorial. Since they designed the memorial as part of the International Design Competition in the early days of our process, we are glad that both teams are here to help take the museum to the next level. It has long been a world-class museum, but we know with this innovative design, it will help visitors all over these grounds realize the museum is an important lesson that makes the symbolic elements of the memorial even more special. So we want you to hear from them. They are the rock stars here, Patrick Gallagher and Hans and Tori Butzer.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Dr. Chambers, and thank you, Carrie, for being such a great partner all these years. It's absolutely humbling for me to be invited back to the Memorial Museum with Hans and Tori to start this incredible project. It's been an honor watching the evolution of this museum over the last 26 years. When we were given the huge responsibility of creating the original master plan for the museum, Oklahoma City was a very different place. The city was in the immediate aftermath of the bombing, and it was our responsibility to create a museum that not only documented the events of the bombing, but more importantly, memorialized the lives of those who were lost and begin the very important work of documenting the personal impact the bombing had on this community. The next phase of the museum was based on bringing the story full circle, with how the investigation and the trial brought the perpetrators of this tragic event to justice. It was also the beginning of a very big push into education and deeper civic engagement through strategic programming and outreach. So here we are in the next chapter of the story with Forward. We see a community that is taking a tragic event and transforming the impact and meaning into dynamic educational programming, and it has now national and international recognition. Sadly, we are not seeing any decline in terrorist events. In fact, they're increasing globally. It's Oklahoma City's responsibility to use what they have learned to help people understand how to process these events and understand what our responsibility is as a member of a global community. The relevance of this site remain a part of a now important international dialogue, and it is our responsibility in teaching civic engagement the relevance of Oklahoma City. Forward will help this museum broaden their educational reach and truly give them a way to take their programming to a wider global community. The museum continues to be as relevant today as it was the day it opened. And I couldn't be more proud to be a part of this truly amazing project and this amazing team. Now I'd like you to hear from Hans and Tori about what Forward will really represent for the museum.
Thank you so much, Patrick. And we look at this important next step. Carrie, Dr. Chambers, and the Oklahoma City National Memorial Museum community, thank you for entrusting us with the design of Forward. This confident new structure will appear to emerge from the west side of the journal record behind us, becoming the new prequel to the chapters within.
The addition will nestle within the landscape as an act of respect and out of deference to the outdoor memorial. The west facade of inviting visitors into the story of April 19th, 1995. The gates of time inspire the facade's colors and proportions.
Inside, the lobby will be anchored underfoot by granite slabs of the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building, offering a sense of comfort and strength. Wood accents and a curated display of Murrah Building art will contribute to a sense of peace and serenity. Lastly, ascending glass elevators and a light-filled interior that visually connect to the outdoor memorial will contribute to a sense of hope that we today call Forward. Thank you.
So you've seen what we're targeting and why it's so important, why we're all here today to announce this and how we're going about to get it done. We have a great team on hand. Like with everything here, we will do so by bringing along all of our stakeholders, our donors, and the public, and involve them in our previews and redesign in every step of the way. We have a lot, we the collective, we have a lot of work to do, but we are excited to get started. We want to commit this to keeping our story relevant. That is why Forward will be an important part of our collective story. We hope you will join us on this journey and follow. Thank you so much for being here, and you can go inside someplace to work.